Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Gurave Sarvalokanam, Vishaje Bhavarogina, Nidhaye Sarva Vidyana, Dakshinamurtaye Namaha, Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Nahi gnanena sadrusham pavitram iha vidyate tat swayam yoga samsiddha kalenatmani vindati. Brahmarpanam brahmahavihi brahmagnau brahmanahutam brahmena tena gantavyam brahma karma samadhina. Hari Om. So, in the world, you generally see two types of people. One is the one who like to be seen, who want to be the part of the scenery, like the celebrities or the politicians or the movie stars, whose whole focus is in being visible. Their whole effort is being the center of focus, being recognized, becoming the scenery. And this is becoming more and more with the upcoming of social media. Everybody is looking for visibility. Everybody wants to be seen. Everybody wants likes. When everybody wants subscriptions. And there is the second category, who are the seers, who want to see all the followers and fans. When is the next movie coming up? When is the next match coming? When is the next speech coming? All the bhakts and the fans. Once they have made up their mind, this is my object of perfection, they impose everything. However imperfect it may or may not be, they always see that perfection and greatness in that. Somebody who does not see it in that way may feel it all very absurd. But these type of people, whom we can call seers, like to see. If you go to, they are not interested in being the center of attraction. They are the ones who want to see something. In terms of psychology, actually, they say women by nature belong to the first category. They want to be seen, they want to be appreciated, they want to be recognized. And all their effort is in being the center of attraction, being displayed. And it is in all beings in feminine, even in the birds and animals. And masculine nature is to see. And both these qualities are about external only, are about the objective aspect of life. And there's a very rare third category. These are the true seers, actually, who are neither interested in being the center of attraction nor interested in anything outside, but their whole interest is in observing themselves, observing what is happening, the phenomenon that they are. The first category want to show themselves as the phenomena. The second category see the phenomenon somewhere else. And the third category of people want to just observe the phenomenon which they are anyway. And by being this observer, of all that is happening, a lot of insights open up. A lot of things which you never observed about yourself start becoming very clear. You never paid any attention to what is happening in your own system, how the breath is moving, how your thoughts are flowing. This is the true witness, the true drashta. Only when you are a real witness, only when you are the true seer observing yourself, you are truly in the moment. And you can do it either being engaged in the world or being engaged with yourself. You can do it both ways. Now you are listening to me, which means you are engaging in something external. While you are listening, if you also become aware of the one who is listening, then your attention is total. Because all your attention is now focused on the one who is listening, and you're listening as well. There is nowhere else you can be distracted. You are seeing, and you are also in touch with the one who is seeing. Do you see what I'm saying? This phenomenon is very active and it can be continuous. And this is a practice. So the more you be with this, do whatever you want in your life, but we also be attentive to the doer. And when you are engaging and when you are also observing the engager, you are totally in the moment. And there another beautiful thing happens. The sense of separation comes between the observer and the doer. And especially if you practice this over a period of time, even in a situation of crisis, suddenly this separation opens up. And then you see that you are not the sufferer. Even the suffering is happening somewhere external to you. And then the intensity of the suffering drops. Your heart rate settles down, your breath settles down. Because you see, it is not me, it is happening there. It's like you're watching a movie. Earlier, you were so identified with the character, you're feeling for him. Now also you feel a little, but then the intensity is not there because you know that you are just observing and the actor is acting. And this is not difficult at all. It is as easy as it is spoken. And you can do it right now and with every aspect of your life. You are walking, talking, listening, sitting. In every aspect, have a little attention on who the doer is. And then the doer and the observer become separate. And that is freedom. In that gap is the freedom. Because all our problems are because the sense of me and mine. This is me. This is happening to me. This is mine. And when this comes, you see, oh, that is not me, and neither that is mine. It is passing in front of me. You are like the sky, and the clouds are passing in front of you. Whenever you say, oh, this is so nice to hear, but it's not practical, this is difficult, you are just finding excuses not to be in that zone. Do you see this? These are all excuses for not to engage in knowledge. All those who don't want to engage in knowledge or spirituality always have an excuse, always have a reason. Oh, this is not for me, it is not time yet. Oh, it is not practical, it is difficult. The knowledge of the self and applying it in real life is the easiest thing you could do. You are just not practiced, that's all. You have done so much of being with the mind again and again and again and again over lifetimes that appears natural to you. This is so simple and so easy and can be done now without any extra skills. But you just don't want to invest yourself there. And so you dismiss it off. Oh, this is not. Or you say it is boring. Whenever you sit for meditation or you invest in anything spiritual and you feel it is boring or it is itching, you are getting pain here, pain there, what is happening? You are still in the transactional body. Your attention is still in the transactional aspect of yourself. The moment the attention shifts onto the observer, suddenly there is a brush of energy in you. There is stillness, there is comfort. The place of greatest comfort is samadhi. When meditation clicks in, the body becomes still, the mind settles down, there are no thoughts, the emotions go to the background, the time slips. But the moment you come back to your mind, all these come back. The body is restless, the body cannot be still, the mind is all over the place, the emotions are unsettled, and then there is the sensation of dragging of time. All you have to do is observe the observer. Even at this point, when you are experiencing any unpleasantness, observe the one who is experiencing the unpleasantness, and you will see suddenly a stillness comes in. And this stillness is the doorstep to samadhi. If you can hold yourself there for a little while, you will slip into timelessness. Your mindfulness is just at the doorstep of samadhi, of timelessness. If you can hold on to the mindfulness, then you will move into timelessness. Are you getting what I'm saying? It is not difficult, it is easy, and it is revolutionary. If you can just hold on to this, in the Ashtavakra it says, Yadi deham pratak kutva, chiti vishramya tishtasi. When you see, if you can separate yourself from what you think that you are the body, and chiti in the consciousness in the self, vishramya tishtasi, if we can just repose there, rest there for a while, aduna sukhi shantam bandha mukto bhavishyasi. In that moment, you experience comfort and freedom. So it's just again realizing that the two jivas are together, and usually it's the body mind which tends to dominate and take over. Just allow the spirit to take over, the witness to take over. And in that taking over, the restless, changing, agitated, transactional body settles down and the self shines through. See what I'm saying? Hmm? Very good. So this is the key to everything. How does this happen? When the sattva in you increases. How do you increase your sattva? When you eat something that is sattvic, when you stay with somebody who is sattvic, when you listen to something that is sattvic, when your activities are sattvic. And last week we saw he defined three types of jnana, three types of karma, three types of karta. What is sattvic, what is rajasic, and what is tamasic. Through your practices, you automatically enhance the sattva, and through your discipline, you can sustain that sattva. Food, rest, company, attention, where you put in, all that will bring the sattva up. And once the sattva is up, then all these things become natural. You automatically become attentive to what is happening. बुद्धेर्भेदं धृतेश्चैव गुणतस्त्रिविधं शृणु प्रोच्यमानमशेषेण पृथकत्वेन धनञ्जय. Now we see, last time we saw about the three types of jnana, karma and karta. Now we are saying even there will be three types in buddhi and dhruti. प्रवृत्तिं च निवृत्तिं च कार्याकार्ये भयाभये बन्धं मोक्षं च या वेत्ति बुद्धिः सा पार्थ सात्विकी. So what is a sattvic buddhi? What is a sattvic intellect? Pravrittim cha nivrittim cha. That which has the viveka in it to realize what I should engage with, what I should withdraw from. What is it in the long term that is going to sustain me in sattva? That I will engage in. What is that keeps me pulling down again and again? That I need to withdraw from. The self is what I would engage in. The body mind, which is just a miniature version of the samsara of the world, I would like to withdraw whenever possible. And even when I am engaging with them, I am engaging through the lens of the self, lens of the witness. Karya, what should be done, what should not be done. Bhaya, bhaya. What is that to be afraid of? What is that to be going getting close to? See, the most loving thing in the world is divinity, is your guru. If you are afraid of God and guru, then whom will you love in life? So there is this term called God fearing. Be God fearing. I mean, if you are going to be afraid of God, whom will you love? If you have to be afraid of relations. Be afraid of people because they are unpredictable. God is ever loving. Guru is ever caring. What you need to be loving with all your heart, where you need to be pouring all your attention, there you are afraid. There you are hesitating. But where you need to be careful, there you are trying to pour your attention. So, one whose intellect is mature enough and knows what to be afraid of and what to love. Bandham moksham chayavit. And what is bondage and what is liberation? Just know this, whatever is comfortable, that is freedom for you. Whatever brings you pleasantness and comfort, that is freedom, that is moksha. Whatever binds you, whatever makes you feel uncomfortable, whatever makes you feel stressed, worried, limited, all that is bandhan. If you can have this one definition in your mind, that which is pulling me back, holding me back, not allowing me to express myself or experience myself fully, all that is bandhana. Where I feel so free, relaxed, like a bird in the sky, with no restrictions, with no limitations. That aspect is moksha, that is freedom. So, one who knows that what is binding me, what is going to liberate me, buddhi sa partha satviki. That intellect is sattvic. Yaya dharmam adharmam cha karyam cha karyameva cha ayathavat prajanati buddhi sa partha rajasi. Where the intellect is confused between what is dharma and what is adharma. What should I pursue? What should I withdraw from? Karyam, akaryam. What is it that I should really do? What is it that I should withhold myself from doing? Ayathavat prajanati. Ayathavat means you're confused, not clear. There is no clarity in your head. What is dharma? What is adharma? And what is to be done? What is to be withdrawn from? That type of buddhi is rajasi. See, you see these three things. As the prana in you rises, you become sattvic automatically. As the prana drops down, rajas starts coming in. When the prana drops even further, then it is tamas. What is happening? As the prana comes down, your awareness is diminishing and you're allowing the mind to wag its tail again. When the awareness is low, the mind is dominant. When the awareness is high, the mind goes to the background. It's only when you are not mindful, you get so stuck up with the scenery. So, as your prana comes down, as energy starts falling down, the scenery starts dominating your life. First, you had so much of clarity when Viveka was there, when Sattva was there. And then, when the drops energy to Rajas come, there is confusion. You're not sure. You are on the path for a few years, and sometimes you see, look around people and say, am I missing out on all the fun everybody is having? Is that the right way of life, or is this the right way of life? Everybody says I should be doing that. What am I doing? Not even few people are doing what I am doing. Am I really not wasting my time like everybody else says? This confusion when it comes, that is rajas. There is no clarity. There is no conviction in what you are doing. Maybe, may not be. Ayatavat prajana. You can't see things as they are. You're a little bit blurred in your vision. Sapartha Rajasi. That type of intellect is Rajasic. Adharmam dharmamitiya manyate tamasavruta sarvatan viparitanscha buddhi sa partha tamasi. Now tamasic buddhi is one where it sees adharma as dharma. That is why, that's a natural way of life. If you want to get a work done in the government office, you have to bribe them. That is normal. You have to give it. You don't even feel like that. You just give it. That's all. That's part of life. That's the easier way, shortcut method, where your intellect feels that it is okay to do this. It doesn't even feel a pinch in doing that. Doing something or even receiving, not even just giving, even receiving also. If this has to be done, only if this goes through this channel only it will happen. Taking shortcuts. Very much ready to step over your own friend or colleague if you want to get somewhere else. Doesn't matter. That is how the corporate world works. You have to pull somebody down and climb on his shoulders. That's when I will reach the top. So even adharma, you take it as dharma. It is okay. That is how it is. You impose it on the world, and that's how the world runs. If I don't get in, then I will be lagging behind in the rat race. Or some people, how they defend, partying is good, alcohol is good. There are scientific studies showing how a little bit of alcohol is good. If you look at all this research, that the aim, the Western world's alcohol is part of the culture, so they don't want to tell it as bad at all. So somehow they come around and say, so this much alcohol, if you get, is good for your heart. So this is trying to justify adharma also as dharma. Adharmam dharmamiti ya manyate. Sarvatan viparitanscha buddhi. And that buddhi is, viparita means looking at everything in the other way only. Viparita means upside down. What is to be done? See, saying, justifying what weekend, we have to sleep more. You sleep more if your body has lost sleep over the last few days because you were very busy or doing, that is different. It's weekend, we have to sleep more. It is justified in sleeping more. It is justified being lazy. It is justified in having cheat days. Nowadays, even cheat days are considered normal. You should have cheat days once in a while. You can eat what you want. You can be lazy. So, dropping discipline is also considered acceptable. This sort of an attitude, the buddhi which accepts this, is called tamas. Adharmam dharmamiti sarvatan viparitanscha buddhi sa partha tamasi. Then he talks about three types of dhrutis. What is dhruti? Dhruti is where you invest your energies, where your focus is in your life. And that focus will determine the outcome of your life, where you come out of on the other end. Nrutya yaya dharayate manah pranendriya kriyaha yoga navya vicharinya dhrutis sapartha satviki. That dhruti, which will help you to have a say over your mind, your prana, and your indriya. That discipline, that commitment, how do you get that? Avyabhicharinya yogena, uninterrupted practice of yoga. When you uninterruptedly engage in yoga, then you develop a strength in you, and through that strength and commitment, you will have a say over manah prana indriya kriya. The activity of the mind, the activity of the prana, and the activity of the indriyas are sustained by you, controlled by you, regulated by you. That sort of a dhruti which helps you do this is sattvika. यया तु धर्मकामार्तान् धृत्या धारयते अर्जुन प्रसंगेन फलाकांक्षी धृतिः सा पार्थ राजसी. The Rajasic Dhruti is one, see, which is more interested in dharma, artha, and kama. Following the rule, fulfilling your pleasures, and accumulating wealth. The Satvika Dhruti is interested in having a say over the mind, prana, and the indriyas. That will lead to the moksha, the fourth or the most important purushartha. But here, the interest is in the transactional body. All dharma, artha, kama are limited to your body mind, being within the rules, hmm, and accumulating wealth, fulfilling the desires. Prasangena falakankshitra. One, you are doing engaging in this with attachment. Prasangena means attachment to them. Sangha is attachment. You are attached to them and falakankshi. You want something out of it. You are engaging. Your investment or your energy are moving in the direction of dharma, artha, and kama. And even there, you are moving because you want your desires to be fulfilled, to accumulate something, to be in the good books of somebody, and with the attachment to this result of action. When you engage, if that is the where direction your energies are being invested, that is a sattvic rajasika dhruti. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madameva cha na vimunchati durmeda dhruti sa partha tamasi. You have engaged or you invested your energies and commitment so much into the world that what is remaining in spite of this investment is this swapnam. Either you are daydreaming or having nightmares in your life. Bhayam, you feel insecure. Shokam, you are not happy. Vishadam, you are in anguish. Madameva, you are arrogant or fixated in your attitudes. Na vimunchati durmedha drutihi. When a druti cannot free you from all these things, called durmedha. Durmeda means a very immature, insensitive commitment. You are so immature in your outlook that you don't see the obvious. And so you get engaged in the things, even though they keep beating you up again and again. The world keeps beating you again and again and again. Again, you go back to it again and again and again. Because you feel that's my only way where I've got joys. Even though it's never given you any joy. It has constantly hurt you and still you go back to them because you made it your identity. This is a tamasic dhruti. Na tadasti prativyam vadivi deveshu va punaha sattvam prakriti jair muktam yadebhisyatri birgunaihi. And here Krishna makes a very obvious statement with lot of conviction. He says, Arjuna, in this world or in any other world, you cannot find any beings who are free from the influence of these three gunas. In every aspect of your life, they show up. The gunas will show up. What will they affect? They affect your transactional body. The gunas can't affect the witness, they affect the transactional body. And you can't find anybody anywhere in this world or other worlds who are free from the influence of these gunas. ब्राह्मण क्षत्रिय विशाम शूद्राणाम च परंतप कर्माणि प्रविभक्तानि स्वभाव प्रभवैर्गुणैः. Even what you call brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya and shudra are just influence of the dominant guna in you. The dominant guna pushes all the attitudes and activities in your life in that direction, and that becomes your swabhava. शमो दमस्तपः शौचं क्षान्तिरार्जवमेव च ज्ञानं विज्ञानमास्तिक्यं ब्रह्मकर्म स्वभावजम्. So who is a brahmana? One who by nature is interested in shama. Shama means tranquil, being cool about things, not being shaken or panic driven very easily. One who does not get anxious, one who is able to take good as well as the bad, equanimity, that is shama. Dhamma is having a say over the senses, not swayed by the senses. You feel hungry, You say, okay, it's time for meditation, let me meditate for a while. Or I'm going to a silence program for 2 days, I will not eat that which my tongue asks me to eat, I will eat that which will help me for my meditation. That is Dhamma. Tapaha. Tapaha is able to forbear the unpleasantness. Okay, there is unpleasantness, let it be, so what? Let me forbear that. Shaucham. Purity in thought, purity in action, purity in intention. Shaucha does not mean physical purity, it's also keeping your environment clean, your thoughts clean, your intentions clean. Kshantihi. Kshantihi is forgiveness, ability to let go. You can only forgive when you can let go. When you hold on to somebody's action and behavior, how will you be able to forget? So, Kshantihi. How will you have this Kshanti when you know that everything is changing? Even the other person's behavior is just a product of the guna which is dominant in them. Arjavam. Arjavam means what? Sincerity. Being sincere in what you do. Gnanam Vijnanam Astikyam. Gnana is knowledge of the self, Vijnana is knowledge of the matter. Science and spirituality. Astikyam. Interested in both the jivas. The Vyavaharika Jiva works on the laws of matter. The Adhyatmika Jiva works on the laws of spirit. Awareness of both and interest in both. Gnana Vijnana Mastikyam. Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. Such type of an individual, he can be called as a Brahmana. Shauryam Tejo Dhrutirdakshyam Yuddhe Chapyapalayanam Danam Ishvara Bhavascha Kshatram Karma Swabhavajam. So when the Rajas, this is also the Brahmana activity is more when the Sattva is there. When the Rajas start dominating, what happens? These qualities come out. Shaurya. So a Kshatriya is a combination of Sattva and Rajas, but with a little more of Rajas. Shaurya means valor, Teja, radiance, Dhrutir Darkshyam, skill. Dhruti is commitment, discipline. Darkshyam is skillful. Yuddhe cha api apalayanam. When confronted with challenges, not running away from them. Yuddhe is just a metaphor. When a conflict arises, when a challenge arises, not running away from it. Na apapalayanam. Danam Ishvara Bhavascha. Danam means being generous. Ishvara Bhavascha is sense of I want to look after everybody. God is there for everybody. Ishvara Bhava is that taking responsibility for everybody, standing up for everybody. Ishvara Bhava, responsibility. Kshatram Karma Swabhavajam. This is indicative of a Kshatriya Dharma. One who has this sort of quality, this type of guna, which is predominantly Rajas, but also some Sattva in it, he will be a Kshatriya. कृषि गौरक्ष्य वाणिज्यम वैश्य कर्म स्वभावजम परिचर्यात्मकं कर्म शूद्रस्यापि स्वभावजम. कृषि गौरक्षण वाणिज्यम. Now when you come further down, here more is about, see, even in the Kshatriya he wants to look after others, he wants to be standing up for others. Here more is for how I can grow what I have, enhancing your own stuff. Now the me and mine is becoming stronger and stronger. Krushi Gauraksha Vanijyam. So a Vaishya is one who is able to enhance, make 1 to 2, 2 to 4, 4 to 8. So one who is able to multiply the resources that are available, one who has that skill and attitude, wanting to multiply and the salesmanship to do that and multiply it, that he becomes a Vaishya. Paricharyatmakam karma shudrasyapi swabhavacham. I don't have any special skills, but I can serve. Whatever little skills, I'm able to trade it off to whatever you're going to give me. So for a benefit, giving up your skills and using those skills for the service of others. That is a Shudra. Now, there is nothing higher, lower in the qualities, in the people who are in these four categories. But Krishna is saying, depending upon their energy, their swabhava is determined. Depending upon the guna, this type of, what you call, inclination develops in the life. And by looking at their inclination, you can name them Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or a Shudra. Yeah? A Shudra is generally a pleasure seeker. Pleasure is the highest form of joy for him. A Vaishya is a profit seeker. Profit is what gives him more joy, more than the pleasure. He's able to let go of pleasure. He's able to let go of 1 or 2 days of sleep. He's able to work 16 hours a night, a day or a night. But what gives him joy is that profit is generated. A Kshatriya is a power seeker. When he gets the power to look after, to keep law and order, then that gives him joy. I'm able to control things. One who seeks control is a Kshatriya. And one who wants to let go, that is a Brahmana. So he does not is interested in anything. He's neither interested in pleasure, nor in resources, nor in control. He just wants to let go and be relaxed and peaceful and happy. That is a Brahmana. स्वे स्वे कर्मण्यभिरतः संसिद्धिं लभते नरः स्वकर्मनिरतः सिद्धिं यथा विन्दति तच्छृणु. When you completely, wholeheartedly give 100% to your own swabhava, and there itself you can attain perfection. Samsiddhim labate naraha. You can be perfect. You may just be a stonemason, but nobody can make a statue like you do. That radiance in the statue, the divinity, only you can bring in that. You may be a tailor, but the way you stitch the clothes, only you can make it perfect. So even when you move along your own swabhava, there you can attain perfection. Sukam tvidanim trividam shrunu me bharatarshaba abhyasatramate yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati. Just like the gnana and the buddhi and the dhruti, there are three types of sukha which comes. These three types of sukha also will explain to you, Arjuna. Abhyasat ramate yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati. When you practice it this way, you will be floating in joy, and dukkhantam, you will go to the end of suffering. You will be free from suffering, and you will enjoy the happiness, and you will experience what true happiness is. Yattad agravisham iva pariname amrutopamam tatsukam satvikam proktam atma buddhir prasadajam. One that appears as poison in the beginning, but the end result is like nectar. Tat sukam satvikam, that type of joy. That which is little difficult to attain in the beginning. You have to put an effort, you have to be disciplined. But the end result is sustaining and very of a high quality. That sort of a joy is satviki. The joy you get from being from your discipline. This all the joy you get, you sit for 2 days, 3 days in your silence program. It is difficult. It requires a lot of commitment and shraddha to sit there. But what comes out of it is amrita. Same with your exercising. It's not easy to go to the gym. It's not easy to fast or have discipline in your eating habits. But what comes out of it at the end is sustained and of high quality. And he also gives an example here. Atma buddhi prasadajam. The best example of a sattvic joy, the joy that comes out of knowledge of the self and the grace that comes out of knowing the self. Atma buddhi prasadajam. Knowledge of the self and the grace that flows with it. That gives you a sattvic joy. But it is not that straightforward to attain. You have to be disciplined and should really want. In the Ashtavakra Gita, the first shloka, what Ashtavakra says is, Vishaya Sukam Vishamapi Vishamiti Parityajya. You will have to let go of the sensory pleasures as if they are poison. A pleasure seeker cannot seek the truth. He cannot experience the truth as well. You have to rise above the pleasure to experience the truth. So that requires discipline, time, commitment, sacrifice. And that is why that's called as Sattvika Sukha. That which is little difficult in the beginning, but at the end it is like nectar. विषयेन्द्रिय संयोगात् यतदग्रे अमृतोपमं परिणामे विषम इव तत्सुखं राजसंस्मृतम्. That joy which is appears like a nectar to begin with, appears also thrilling and joyful to begin with, but just dissipates very quickly and leaves you with empty hands and tiredness. That which is joyful to begin with but ends up as if poison at the end, that sort of a joy is a rajasic joy. I like to eat this food. The moment you find it, 1 2 3 4 5, and then 20 minutes you feel so unpleasant, but at the time you can't control yourself. There is no discipline there. So become aware that that which gives you instant joy but then makes you feel uncomfortable for a long time afterwards, that is a rajasic joy. And what the example he gives, Vishayendriya samyogat yat sukham alpayate. When the contact of the senses with the object of senses, all the sensory pleasures are like this. They promise a lot of joy, but they give only a little joy and then they tire you. They make you exhausted and useless. यद यदग्रे चानुबन्धे च सुखं मोहनमात्मनः निद्रालस्य प्रमादोत्तं तत्तामसम् उदाहृतम्. Yet agre cha anubandha, that which is neither joyful in the beginning nor at the end, but appears as if gives an illusion of joy, that is a tamasic joy. Addictions, all our addictions are tamasic joy. Whether it is laziness, whether it is alcohol, whether it is drugs, whether it is your tea or coffee as well. All addictions, they promise joy but never give you any joy. So that which is neither joyful to begin with nor joyful at the end, but only keep you hooked on to them all the time, that sort of a joy is tamasic. And the example what he gives, Nidra Alasya Pramad. The purpose of your life is to live in awareness, live mindfully, live deliberately, and cut through this karmic bondage and move on. But if you feel joy in sleep, in escaping from the world, you find a hideout in your sleep, then that is a tamasic attitude. Sleep is essential to just to give a little bit of a rest. That's why you see, the more happier you are, the less sleep you need. The more worried, the more desirous you are, the more ambitious you are, the more sleep you need, but you don't get more sleep. That is a secondary thing. You don't even though you may be lying in the bed for long, you will not sleep well. But the more happier and contented you are, the less sleep you need. Alasya, laziness. Pramada. Pramada is knowing very well what is right and still not doing it. Knowing very well what is not right, still not being able not to do it. Nidra, pramada, alasya. If you start seeking joy in laziness, in sleep, and in pramada, these are the three gates to hell. In the 16th chapter, Krishna says the three gates to hell are pramada, alasya, and nidra. If the gates to hell, you look at it as gates to heaven, then that is a tamasic attitude. Earlier he says in the Dhriti, sarvan viparitanscha. You look everything in the other way, upside down, and that type of an attitude is that of a tamasi. यतः प्रवृत्ति भूतानां येन सर्वमिदं ततं स्वकर्मणा तमभ्यर्च्य सिद्धिं विन्दति मानवः. When you know what is your dominant nature, and also when you can realize that all this is coming from that one source only, yatha pravrittir bhutanam yena sarvam idam tatam, all these thoughts, actions, feelings, emotions, my intentions, everything is coming from that one source. Sarva karmana tamabhyarchyat. By offering everything to him, if you can just follow in what is your dominant nature, even then you will be perfect in your own nature. Whether you are a Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, or Shudra, whatever that is your dominant tendency, attributing that to that higher power or divinity, the one source from which everything is emerging, and working in that path, offering all the results to that. Tamabhyarchya, Swakarmana Tamabhyarchya. When you work, give your 100%, offering all the results to that power through which you are being pushed in that direction. Siddhim Vendati Manavaha. That man gains perfection in that direction. Shreyan Swadharmo Viguna Paradharma Swanushtitat Swabhavaniyatam Karma Kurvanna Apnoti Kilbisham. It is better to die in your own nature, doing what is natural to you. It is better to go in that direction, attain perfection. Paradharmat swa anustitat. Rather than trying to imitate somebody, rather than trying to do something which is not natural to you. Swabhava niyatam karma kurvan na apnoti kilpisham. A tiger kills a deer and eats it. It is its nature. The nature has made it like that. By doing that, the tiger does not attain any papa. Because that is its swabhava niyatam karma. Swabhava niyatam karma kurvan na apnoti kilbisham. When you do that which is bestowed upon you as your own nature, then you will not attain sin through your actions when you are following your swadharma. See, a Shudra can engage in service or can engage in pleasure. If you engage in service, you get perfection in that. A Vaishya can create wealth for everybody. So the real wisdom is what? The Brahmana is the real innovator. All innovations have come from solitude. Have you noticed? Nobody has created something being in a group or sitting in a party. All, if you look at the Newton's apple theory or the Archimedes bathroom theory, everything happened when people were on their own in solitude. All the great visions the rishis have come in solitude. So Brahmana is the one who can give the greatest contribution to the society, to the people around. So what should you do? The Kshatriya should protect him, should look after him. A Vaishya should give him resources to him so that he doesn't have to think about when will my next meal come from. And the Shudra should look after him, should serve him, should build a house for him, will make him comfortable physically. So by doing this also they all get eligibility to the part of that punya which a Brahmana generates. So by just being devoted sincerely to your own dharma and following it in a proper way and offering all the results to the divine, you get perfection in that particular way. And it is better to go on that way rather trying to imitate somebody else, trying to be somebody else. So if you are engaged in action which is true to your nature, even if the result appears to be destructive, you will not attain any sin. As a Kshatriya, your job is to protect the Dharma. Your job is to fight this war. In the matter of it, if you kill so many people, they are all you are killing them all on the side of Adharma. You are acting to uplift the Dharma. You have got nothing personal with anybody else. So by doing this, you will not attain kilbisham, sin. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyajit sarvaramba hi doshena dhume nagnir iva avrutaha. And Arjuna, know this, no action is perfect. All actions are imperfect by nature because gunas are imperfect. So actions will be imperfect. Sahajam karma kaunteya sadoshamapi natyajet. Whatever is natural to you, Arjuna, you should engage in that action. Even if it is imperfect, don't withdraw from it or hesitate from it. Sarva rambahi doshena dhumen agniriva avrutaha. Just like even the radiant fire is always surrounded by smoke, All actions would have some amount of imperfection in them. So let go of that notion of this is not right, this is not wrong. See what is your natural action, what you are bound as Swadharma, duty bound in this world to do, and engage in that action. By engaging in that, you will not incur any sin because of the result of your action. असक्त बुद्धि सर्वत्र जितात्मा विगत स्पृहः नैष्कर्म्य सिद्धिं परमां संन्यासेन अधिगच्छति. And here he comes to the most important aspect of it. You have attained perfection in your swabhavas. And what does that perfection will lead you? Asakta buddhi sarvatra jitatma vigata spruhaha. While doing that action which is swabhava, if you can do it, asakta buddhi, with a sense of dispassion, jitatma, with a say over the senses, not being swayed by it, vigata spruhaha, free from craving for a result that will come out of what you are doing, naishkarmya siddhim, you will rise to the state of a non-doership. The skill of non-doership will come. You are engaging in a very intense action, but still you are a non-doer. You are able to witness yourself and free yourself from the doership of that action. Paramam sannyasena adhigachanti. From the proper type of letting go, this separation of drishya and the drashta, when this happens, you will attain the skill of naishkarmya siddhi, the skill of non-doership. And what does this skill of non-doership bring you? That we will see next time. Okay, so all this Pitika, all this foundation was to come to this stage that you can't be free from action, but you can refine action by enhancing your sattva in you. And when the action gets refined, and in that action only you can attain perfection. And the next step is you engaging in the action, you still remain a non-doer. And when this non-doer skill starts growing in you, then what all comes through? That is the essence of the next few shlokas. That is really the essence of this chapter. Now you are now ready to get into the sannyasa. And this sannyasa is at the doorstep of moksha. So you are so close to liberation now. You are moving away from bondage. Okay. Om Namah Shivaya. See, when somebody asked Gurudev, does knowledge change with time? He said, no, knowledge is the same, but your understanding changes with time. So it's like that. So recently when I had to go through this, a lot of things came out in a completely different angle. So I just wanted to share this all with you. And I think for a seeker who is very serious about his pursuit of moksha, this is like a manual, this chapter. It's telling you where you stand and where you can reach and how to reach there as well. I mean, this was not as clear to me when we first discussed this chapter a few years ago. And this is really quite eye-opener. So when the recordings come through, just listen to them again and again, and also see if you can just read through your shlokas yourself and see what comes to you. And remember this, that the key to all this is what? Realizing that there is a doer and there is a witness, both coexisting. Whom you invest in, that shows where you are going to go. If you invest more in the doer, you get deeper into samsara. You invest more in the witness, the closer you go to freedom. And that is easy. It is not a difficult thing to move away from the doer and move towards the witness. Okay? Jai Gurudev. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayah, sarve bhadrani pashyantu मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। लोका समस्ता सुखिनो भवन्तु। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ। श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ॐ। ॐ नमः शिवाय।